Tendai MWARI, Tendai MWARI, Tendai MWARI. Royal elders, queens and kings, princesses and princes of great Mama Africa, I bring greetings in the most precious, powerful and bountiful name of our motherland, Alkebu-Lan, Mama Africa, in the sacred spirits of our most gracious ancestors, and in a prayer for oneness, hope, and prosperity for all African people upon the face of Mother Earth. Rumbidzo kunamwa ye Africa, to the God of Africa be the glory. Giving thanks and praises, beloved brothers and sisters, I am Brother Leader Mbandaka, the spiritual leader of the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement based in the United Kingdom. I hereby deliver this statement on the death of President John Pombe Magufuli of Tanzania on behalf of the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement. It is with great shock and alarm, as well as indignation, that we receive the news of the death of President Pombe Magufuli of Tanzania. Our initial thoughts, prayers, and most heartfelt condolences are, of course, with the wife and First Lady of Tanzania, Mama Janet Magufuli, and family, as well as our brothers and sisters, the people of Tanzania. We in the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist Movement stand firmly in solidarity with the government and people of Tanzania in this time. We hail our newly sworn-in president in these very trying circumstances, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, and we shall duly observe the nation's 14 days of national mourning as Madam President has directed. We have to say, however, that we find the timing of President Magufuli's passing and the cause of death, as reported, heart failure with COVID-19 speculations, highly suspicious, to say the very least. In context, we note the following. 1. President Magufuli's safety and security has been a matter of grave, ongoing concerns expressed by Pan-African organizations and media outlets, especially in the wake of his public stance against the COVID-19, the rampant COVID-19 propaganda and vaccine. This was a situation in the UK, and we are confident that these concerns were echoed throughout the African world. 2. This stance incited condemnations from various Western governments and international institutions, including the World Health Organization and the Vatican. 3. President Magufuli had also maintained an open posture of resistance against neocolonialism and imperialism, Euro-American in particular, and any form of foreign exploitation and the institutions thereof, including Chinese, in Tanzania. He did not hesitate to cancel or refuse contracts that were not in Tanzania's interest, or indeed to dismiss multinational corporations that refuse to pay their dues or observe or abuse Tanzanian hospitality. 4. There is a history of African leaders, heads of states and governments being assassinated or toppled for refusing to succumb to the dictates of neo-colonialist and imperialist powers and their global institutions against the interest of their own people. 5. There was a conspiracy by imperialist governments and the international mass media to assassinate the character of the Tanzanian president, depicting him as dictatorial, irrational, and a religious fanatic. 6. Character assassination is a standard precursor to physical assassination in the experience of African people and their leaders in history. 7. President Magufuli, a highly qualified scientist himself, a PhD no less in science and mathematics, had cooperated initially with the World Health Organization, sharing data on COVID-19 cases, but ceased to after swabs from a goat, a papa, and some oil, which he had sent for testing, returned positive. The president's position berating the efficacy and safety of this new vaccine technology, which had not been adequately tested, and refusing to have his nation vaccinated, is a position shared by a growing number of scientists and medical experts worldwide, and was, in our view, a responsible, intelligent, and particularly brave decision to take as an African head of state. 9. Indeed, President Magufuli stood out on the African continent, on the African world stage even, as our most coherent, dynamic, and visionary leader, not to mention courageous. We therefore ask the question, as Bob Marley did in the song, Redemption Song: how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? John Stockwell, former Angolan CIA station chief, had stated publicly that the toppling of President Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana was sponsored and orchestrated by the CIA and British intelligence, whilst Larry Devlin, former Congo CIA station chief, attested that President Eisenhower had instructed him to assassinate Papa Patrice Lumumba, the new Prime Minister of the Congo, by injecting a poison into his toothpaste to simulate death by natural causes. Furthermore, in 1975, the Church Committee in the United States of America, investigating abuses by the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the National Security Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation vis-a-vis the civil rights movement of the 1950s into the 1970s, found that the CIA had a secret weapon, a gun, which discharged tiny darts designed to induce heart attacks. 60 years on, such technology would no doubt be far more developed and sophisticated. In light of the foregoing, 1. We call upon President Samia Suluhu Hassan and the government of Tanzania to treat President Magufuli's death as suspicious and to launch an immediate investigation into his possible assassination. 2. We call upon the people of Tanzania to demand this of our president and government if action in this regard is not immediately evident. 3. We call upon the African Union to adopt said position and support the government of Tanzania and the people of Tanzania in this investigation into the possible assassination of President Magufuli. 4. We call upon President Samia Suluhu Hassan and the government of Tanzania to hold fast to the vision, the mission, and the cause for which our revered president lived and died, and to emulate the outstanding courage he demonstrated as he strove to lift the nation of Tanzania up, shining a beacon of light of hope and great possibilities across the African continent and throughout the African world. 5. We call upon the African Union to set up a continental tribunal to launch an inquiry into the assassination and toppling of all progressive African leaders, heads of states and governments from the 1950s to the present, and in particular, the role of colonial and neo-colonial as well as imperialist governments and institutions of Europe and the United States of America. We call upon, number 6, we call upon the African Union and all African heads of states, including Caribbean heads of states, to treat this matter as a potential war crime and to raise it in the United Nations as a potential matter for the International Criminal Court, albeit that the ICC has proven itself to be a racist, imperialist, and decidedly anti-African institution. 7. We call upon all members of Parliament in the UK of African heritage to make a joint statement in Parliament highlighting this public concern around the suspicious nature of President Magufuli's death, interrogating any knowledge or involvement of the British government and its institutions. 8. We call upon African people everywhere. We call upon African people everywhere to unite and organize around a determined, unrelenting program of action to procure the truth about the death of President Magufuli and justice where any evidence of an assassination is found. 9. We call upon African people everywhere to lobby their governments, parliaments, congresses, etc., and to mobilize the most massive, sustained people support and action around this demand for truth and justice in the wake of the sudden and suspicious death of President Magufuli. Brothers and sisters, we must stand up for those who lay down their lives for us. Brother Magufuli laid down his life for us, and we will stand up for him. We must stand up for him. 10. We call upon African people everywhere to be wise to the insidious New World Order agenda and its deadly system of globalization, driven by the global plutocrats, otherwise known as the 1%, the global power elites, global white supremacy by various other names, those who control governments, the banking system, multinational corporations, the mass media, and international institutions such as the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the World Health Organization, the World Trade Organization, the World Economic Forum, UNESCO, and others, and secret societies such as the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and many, many more. Sons and daughters of Africa, for the past 5 centuries, 500 years, we African people have been enduring the most vicious, barbarous, sustained assault on African humanity, our humanity. This Ma'afa, the enslavement, colonization, neo-colonization, an ongoing systemic racial oppression, exploitation, and degradation, whether in the form of apartheid or U.S. segregation, is the context in which African leaders who have defended the human rights and interest and dignity and integrity of their people have been martyred or overthrown. Now is the time when all Africans must heed the words and affirm and implement the black print of the most eminent prophet and king, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey. To unite, organize now or perish. Unite, organize now or perish. To organize ourselves wherever we are as a nation of people to build institutions designed by African people to promote, protect, and preserve the best interest of African people. In conclusion, we hail the name and indomitable spirit of President Pombe Magufuli. May his legacy of African resistance, African dignity, African self-determination live on to inspire future African leaders, nations, and indeed future African generations. May the spirit of Mzima Mukuru, the spirits of Mzima Mukuru, the great ancestors, gather around him and give him safe ascendancy in their higher, most sacred realms. And may he rise like Ra on the wings of Ma'at after a favorable judgment in the council of Asar. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo, Amen Ra, it is done. Rise, Simuka, Simuka, rise, rise in power. Baba, warrior, Pombe Magufuli. Rumbidzo kuna mwari ye Africa. To the God of Africa be the glory. Tendai MWARI.